He's got a.
There's no question.
He's feeling blue, apparently.
Oh, wait. That's Brett. Oh, my God. What an entrance. He just appeared. Poof.
There he is.
I forgot one minor detail. Push enter on the button.
How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
We're all
good,
good.
man.
You know what? We were just talking about, like, the three of us started doing this show a few weeks ago, once a week here on YouTube, because so many people missed our old show, That Metal Show, and just a way to connect with people again. Obviously not the old show, but we're having fun and we're connecting with old friends here on YouTube. We don't know how. We did like 115 episodes. You were never on the old show. You eluded us. Were you waiting for us to fall to YouTube or what?
I was waiting for this exact moment. The other show was so good, you didn't need me, Eddie. You guys didn't need me. It was so good. And I figured I'd like to make this grand entrance. Of course, you pushed me back 3 or 4, but don't worry about Brett. You pushed me back a few weeks, but we're here, and it's going to be awesome.
We've been telling everybody the third week guest is always going to be the best until next week, and then the fourth week guest is the best.
It's like, Brett, it's like a batting order. With baseball, you're the third hitter. That's the big hitter in the lineup, number 3.
That's what I tell myself, right? Until next week. Number 4. That's the home run. That's the one brings them home.
Hey, buddy, how's the party ground looking, man? It's getting close. You and I did a big radio special to announce it, and that seems like ages ago. And now here we are on the cusp of Memorial Weekend, and you're getting closer to launching this thing. How's it been?
It has been insane. First of all, thank you. That launch was incredible. And again, when you're doing something new, when I put together the Mardi Gras concept, it was a celebration of fans, the bands, the music. It's the party experience that when people come, it's more than just the music. It's from the minute they come into the door, the tailgate party, that whole vibe. And luckily the tickets, I'm saying, exploded. It's great. Detroit, we're going to have a sellout at the amphitheater. Then we go to Pittsburgh, and so far it's been awesome. And again, I always say this from the beginning. I'm excited for people to see it. You've got Night Ranger with me. You've got Jefferson Starship. And then you got Steve coming on from Journey singing with me on stage. I throw the mic to him. Mark McGrath coming out there. And then a whole bunch of guests. I know Dee's going to come out and a whole bunch of people. It's going to be amazing.
So in different cities, Brett, you're going to have different guys come out, friends of yours if you can. That's great. We're going to see it in Jersey at the Homedale at the PNC Arts Center.
That show, I can't wait to see you there, because that show is going to be incredible. And what we're doing is making it their summer it's the Rock the Park big party, and having everyone come out on stage with us. And if anyone gets to check out, I sent it to you, I think, real quick, Eddie. I think I sent you guys the party girl just from last weekend, and it's Guy Fieri, myself, a bunch of us. But it's meant to be. All the musicians come up, everybody's having a great time, but the fans from 6 to 60 just jumping, rocking. It's great.
But see, that's the thing. And anybody, and look, anybody can come on this show and talk about, I'm going to engage with people and we're going to party and all of that. And that might appear to be like a great selling point, a great tagline. But if you know anything about Bret Michaels, you know that is as legit as it gets, because that man knows a thing or two about partying, routinely has people on his bus after shows for years. Even on the stadium tour, you're out there throwing the football around in the parking lot. I mean, so this isn't, somebody might hear this as like a marketing ploy, but anybody that truly knows you and knows what you're about knows this is very sincere. Like you are out there and you are just like giving everyone a big group hug with these shows.
First of all, Eddie, thank you. And that is you just said it exactly right. It's as real as it gets. I am sincere. I call it the mixtape. Even though we've gone a little more modern since then, I literally make the music up before the walk-in music. The moment they enter, people are handing out beads, bandanas, guitar picks. If anybody goes up on YouTube and looks at what our crew does, taking care of everybody. I'm always out in the park lot throwing football with people or baseball. Just having a great time.
Yeah, during the stadium tour, Brett and I were out in the parking lot together selling bootleg Poison shirts together. I mean,
damn right. And you still haven't given me my cut yet.
Yeah, I'll Venmo you, Brett. Don't worry about it.
You're gonna send in the mail.
Yeah. Hey, Brett. With all, and again, wherever you are, whether it's Poison or it's this new summer tour, it's always a party, right? So I want to ask you, as the front man of the band, what is the craziest thing that you've seen out there in the crowd, or in any audience, or in the parking lot? What's one of the craziest things that you can think of?
You know, so here's a lot of stuff. The actual craziest thing you see is, because I'm such a, let me say this right, such a fan of the music, but in with the fans, partying, hanging out. I mean, obviously, the insanity that goes on with rock and roll and the stage and everything, and you see it out there, especially when you're on the road with Leppard and Motley Crue and out there with Joan Jett, classless act. There was a lot of crazy going on at the stadium, but at a Bret Michael, that was happening. That was definitely happening in the front row. There was a lot of that in the front row, and I think I mean, you have 3 generations. That may have been happening back circa 88, 89-ish.
Yeah.
Some of those generations may have been made through doing that, Brett. Those future generations were created in the parking lot.
Were created the first time.
Brett, does that ever throw you off? Do you ever stop a song? Does that throw you off if you see people doing that in the crowd as you're singing?
It doesn't throw me off. However, I may stop and take a moment during, it's wonderful if it happens during a ballad. I get a little more time to adjust.
Right.
I can stand there and play through the usually breaks out right about the chords of every rose.
Yeah.
But Brett, the way you celebrate rock and roll and the way you project on stage and the way you front, whether it's your own band or Poison, that really, really resonated with people on the stadium tour. Because, and I told you this, that tour, of course, everybody loved all the bands and everything, but I'm not bullshitting when I say the biggest thing I heard from people who went to that tour was Poison, Bret, holy shit, he was out there, he was loving it, he was just having fun, having the time of his life. Right. And again, I know that's very sincere, but the way that projects and connects with people, even at a stadium level audience, is remarkable. You've got to feel that coming back to you, I would think.
First of all, thank you again. And it's. I know I'm going to get sincere on you a minute, and you guys are going to go, "Don't do this," but I'm going to do it. When you grow up in a small town, right, playing in your basement, and you're playing with the sump pump not working, the water, the cords, every single night, playing music. Like, again, we know I love music, I love sports, right? And then to be able to go out, and here we are all these years later. When I hit that stadium tour in Atlanta from day one, there was nothing, literally nothing stopping us. Poison was going out. We rehearsed. We played real live music. We didn't get a whole lot of sound checks, but we knew, listen, there's a lot going on. These big crews were moving a city. And the minute that they unleashed us to go on that stage, Eddie, you were there. I came running out of the back and just grateful for 3 and 4 generations of fans. For real. Like when we had our hour up, as you saw a couple times, I knew we were about to run over, but I was in no hurry to leave that stage. I just wanted to thank everybody. And again, the fans are the fans just, I want to say they're my family now, but the family, friends, and fans, they rocked the shit out of this. It was great.
Brett, I really feel like you guys had the sweets.
That's my Bret Michaels Party Gras headband.
Look at this. Eddie's already pushed me right off the stage. You know Eddie. I'm right out of there. Right out. Go ahead. I did not mean to interrupt you.
Hey, Brett, I really feel like you guys had the sweet spot on that stadium tour. You went out earlier. It was still light out, but Joan Jett was on before you, so everyone was definitely getting in there to see her. And if they were a little late, they got right in there. So the stadium must have been packed when you guys went on. And there was no pressure to headline with Def Leppard, with all their songs, and then Motley with all their pyro and everything else. I think you guys had the best spot on the thing, and more pressure to follow either Def Leppard or Motley Crue. You just went up there and kicked ass for an hour.
I love you for saying that, and I was grateful. I want to make very clear, I'm a big fan. Joan Jett was incredible. The first band was Classless Act. They were great musicians. Joan, same thing. Played was great. And how weird when you think about this, every rock band you want to play in, you want it to be dark. You know, you're like, give me the dark. I want the lights, the pyro, all this stuff that Poison and myself have done for years. But the opportunity to go out there, and I'm a big fan of Def Leppard, a big fan of Motley Crue. And everyone on that tour was great. Everyone got along. I go out and see their shows. You see all the pictures of Tommy on the side of the stage watching us play. I'm up there hanging out watching Joan and Def Leppard. And it was just, honest to God, it was a great moment. And I wanted to take that. That's how the deal came along for Party Gras. I wanted to take that and just say, look, we're going to go into the amphitheaters and we're going to take the same great vibe and great feel, mix up that music. And at the end of the night, all of us join each other on stage. Night Ranger comes up, Starship, Mark McGrath, Steve Ajar, and whoever's there. If there's friends of mine, musicians there, we're bringing them out.
Hey, Brett, so staying with Poison real quick. Let's play a little game here. Okay. F, marry, kill your bandmates.
Wait. Start over. Hold on a second. Go bring that one more time.
Okay, are you on? You ready?
I'm ready.
You've played F, marry, kill before, right?
I don't think I have. I'd love to tell you yes. I'm probably the most unhip person in the world right now, but go on.
So it's, F is for, that word, marry, or kill your bandmates. So which one would you F? Which one would you marry? Which one would you kill?
All right. You're leaving me with choices here, right? This is a tough one. Man,
I had to give him something.
I guess you want to start on the F. You want to start with who the prettiest one is besides Brett. We all know Brett is the most handsome. He's our guest. Until Ricky's on next week, then he'll be the most handsome. But
right. Eddie, I love the way you roll because you're brutally honest. I love you as long as you're on this show for this moment.
Exactly. That's it.
That's right. Brett, you're my favorite member of Poison. We have Ricky next week. Ricky, babe, I love you.
I know.
Ricky, you're beautiful. We love you.
Now, notice I'm avoiding this, right? I'm avoiding it like the plague. Can we get back to you on another episode of this?
He's not touching it.
I have to rethink that one.
Wait a minute, Don. Do you realize that Poison is a band that have literally fought on stage? You want him to start shit? You want another stadium tour or what?
That's part of what fuels those guys. Come on, is some of that brotherly tension. If you grew up with brothers, don't break up the new band, Don.
That's it. Don't break us up. We're just reuniting. Come on.
Right. Exactly.
Not like this. But like,
well, well, it's all about.
Sorry for my friends, Brett.
But it's okay.
But Brett, you have said previously in interviews that there is something to be said for people who did grow up with brothers, and you scrapped out in the yard, and you had fights, but at the end of the day, you brushed yourself off. You went and ate dinner, and you loved each other. So there is something to be said with that kind of chemistry in Poison over the years.
1,000,000%. I say two things. Going to start with Poison. I grew up with these guys. I say this in every single interview. There was never a moment that I would do something instead of Poison. In other words, I love the solo band. I love playing music. I love being on the road. It is what I grew up living and loving to do. I love the solo band. They're my best friends. I love Poison for real. Like, if it wasn't for CeCe and Bobby, Ricky, I wouldn't be here talking with you all. We did that together. We lived in the back of a dry cleaner for 3 years. I mean, sleeping bags, the floor, and we got to be able to be here. We wrote great songs together, songs that we loved, and to be able to be here and talk about that, and the stadium tour is amazing. But also, I wouldn't be here without the solo band either, because it's also what I love to do. I get to mix up new music with the music we started with. And it's again, it goes back to, I'm grateful to be here hanging with you all, but those guys truly, without them, I wouldn't be here talking to you. And without my buddy Pete. You got to have Pete.
Pete Everett. We all love Pete.
Pete's great.
Yeah, sure, Pete. Sure.
Hey, Brett, before we let you go, I do want to bring two things to you. One quick one here. we are, because I always bring this up with you, we are all football fans here on this screen, and you are a huge Steelers fan. How you feeling about coming off the draft going into the year?
I feel amazing. I feel amazing. Again, you know me, I'm a believer, and I know Mike, I know everybody there in the organization. I feel strong. I think we're going to have an amazing season, and I think we did good in the draft. They picked what we needed. I think we did great. We got some amazing people, and having Ford come in from Penn State. This is good stuff.
No, and the Steelers always draft well, no matter what. They're always good with their drafting and stuff. It was pretty ironic not ironic, but pretty revealing that Ben Roethlisberger said he wasn't rooting for Kenny Pickett early in last season because he was kind of jealous. He wanted him to fail. He told him right to his face about that. He's like, I was an idiot for doing that. I shouldn't have done that, but I was rooting against you in the beginning. Yeah,
and not knowing all that. Again, not knowing all that happened, but I will say this, that with Kenny, I think Kenny's a great quarterback. Again, Ben is Hall of Fame. I mean, you're talking about a Hall of Fame quarterback. The guy was incredible. He's a monster. He liked early in his career, he goes, I like getting hit. Pisses me off, makes me play better. And that fires you up as a Pittsburghian. You know what I mean? So, but I think Kenny the same way. And listen, they're out there. I don't think anyone enters. I mean, think about getting to play in the NFL. It's insane. And I don't think any of the Steelers believe that they can't win, and that's what you want. You want that will to win, no different than your Giants, no different than anybody. You want them to come out kicking ass.
Brett, I got to ask you then. So this will be fun. This will be way easier for you to do than Don's thing.
I see all my friends, by the way, from Philly. You know I love Philly too, but I was born in Pittsburgh, made it to Harrisburg. My dad, by the way, an incredible blessed Memorial Day to all of our veterans out there.
Indeed.
I'm the son of a vet, and for all of our Philly fans, for the Birds, we'll say hello. I know he's giving me a hard time.
Well, me too, being a Giants fan. But
I know.
Here's the thing. So on this, all four of us all root for different football teams. Don is a Jets fan. Jim is a Dolphins fan. I'm Giants. You're Steelers. Of those four teams, Brett, rank the order. Who's going to have the best record and the worst record of those four? Just predict.
I've got this. So I see, obviously, Steelers number one. Right, just throwing it out.
You have to. You're a homer.
I'm just saying. I also see Steelers 2, 3, and 4. I'm just saying. I got this covered. I got my friend Anthony Giordano, diehard. Do you know Anthony Giordano? Incredible stage production manager. One of my best buddies, diehard Jets fan. Then we got Johnny D, who's down in Florida, diehard Dolphins fan. Right.
Nice.
And then we got the one and only Mark McGrath, diehard Giants fan. So
what's the order besides the Steelers at 1, Dolphins, Jets, Giants? How do they finish?
He won't do F, marry, kill with anything.
Oh, that's easy.
He can't marry, kill.
He already put Pittsburgh at 1, so he's got that covered. What's 2, 3, and 4?
Oh man. Well, how about
he's married the Pittsburgh?
Brett,
the Steelers.
I would marry the Jets.
Steelers.
Yeah, Brett, now you're an AFC fan, so you know that the Jets are cursed. So put the Jets fourth right off the bat.
Yeah,
it's either Dolphins or Giants second.
With Aaron Rodgers, you're putting the Jets fourth?
Doesn't matter. I don't care who they have. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They could get Patrick Mahomes and they'll go 7-10. They're cursed.
Let me say this. I'm coming to find you. We're gonna have that.
He's dodging it. He's dodging it.
Come the Jets moment and make them incredible. Just don't beat the Steelers. And you got 3 great teams. Jets are coming. I'm telling you.
See, but Brett is trying to sell party Gras, so he doesn't want any of those fans of those teams to not come because he's putting it. I get it. I see what he's doing. He's a smart guy.
Now listen, just check this out. You see Clifford, there's all kinds of things coming up here, right? He's saying Pennsylvania pride. They know. Now remember, I was the trifecta growing up. We would go to Pittsburgh, see games. We go down to Philadelphia, see games. We obviously shoot down. Then it was the Baltimore Colts. Right, I go down and see the Colts, the Orioles, you know what I mean? So we have the trifecta, but we would go see those Phillies. Let me see, Phillies, Eagles, Flyers. We were sports fanatics, so it was blessed. I got Pennsylvania pride.
Because you were born in like Harrisburg, so you're in between Pittsburgh. And Philly, so you're like right in the middle, right?
Well, I was born in Pittsburgh, right? So I grew up, and then my dad got moved to the Inland Naval Depot in Mechanicsburg. Yeah. So we ended up in Central PA, and we would go see everything. But then a lot of my relatives live up in New York, so those were good days.
Thank you, Clifford. Appreciate it.
Clifford.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Clifford's great.
And Brett, you got to stop on a hometown stop on the Party Gras tour as well.
Oh yeah. So you ready for this? We kick this thing off in Detroit. Then we go then I fly that night down to do a show in Mississippi. The next, then on Saturday, that's Thursday, Detroit, Mississippi Friday. Come back to Pittsburgh Saturday. Then we see you in Homedale on Sunday. And I'm hoping our buddies from the Impractical Jokers and Paul Rudd will be out there. A bunch of our friends. It's going to be great.
Don't forget to stock up on Primanti Brothers while you're home.
Oh, I'm getting all that. And think about this, the Pennsylvania trifecta. I get to play Pittsburgh. We're doing a huge show in Hershey we just announced, which is going to be sold out any moment now at Hershey at the outdoor facility in Grantville, at Hollywood Amphitheater out there, casino, racetrack. Then we go to Philly and play in Camden where we play with Poison. It's going to be killer.
Hey, Brett, real quick on the screen, Fernando just wants to know your favorite English glam rock band.
God, there's so many good glam rock bands. I hope that I'm in the right vein here, but again, used to love Hanoi Rocks, Wrathchild UK. You know, there's a lot of great glam bands that come out of there.
Of course, Mark Bolan and T-Rex started it all, really.
Absolutely.
So that's the benchmark for all of it.
Yep. And Hanoi Rocks is, you can't, they have different members from different areas. But they great tunes and again, Wrathchild UK. And
Michael Monroe is still great live with his solo stuff and playing live. Michael Monroe is a force of nature. He's still killer out there.
He's great.
Yeah. And we don't want to hold you too long if you got to run. So we're going to let you.
Could we give you 2 more minutes, Brett? I know Don put you on the spot with the F, Marry, Kill.
Go ahead.
But we have
we're
a
not
set.
Going back, we have to
no, we're not. No, we're not.
Moment.
We're gonna we do a segment called This versus That. We're putting 2 Poison albums back to figure out which one is better. Look what the Cat Dragged In, or Open Up and Say Ah. Will you do that with us? Because we got our picks. All right, perfect. Let's do it.
Here we go. So let me say this. I got to give my explanation. You know how I go, right? I'm a little long-winded on this.
Should we wait for Brett for last? Shouldn't he have the last word? Those are his albums.
Okay. Here we go.
I'll go first. Look what the Cat Dragged In. One of the best glam hard rock albums I've ever heard. It's a masterpiece from beginning to end. There's not a bad song on there. Love this record.
Thank you.
The second one's got more hits on it, but I love the first one.
I love the opening track on Open Up and Say Ah, Love on the Rocks. I wish you guys did it. It's a great song. That being said, I think Look What the Cat Dragged In is a phenomenal debut record. I love it to this day. It's my favorite Poison album. And I love like deep tracks on that, like Number One, Bad Boy and all that stuff. So I'm Look What the Cat Dragged In.
Okay.
Ed, you're wrong. Your favorite Poison album is Flesh and Blood, but regardless of that,
it's a good one too.
You look at these 2 albums, and your first thought is, well, of course it's going to be Open Up and Say Ah, right? They've already got an album under their belt. They're a little tighter. They're a little more studio-wise, maybe a little better songwriters now. You got the mega hits like Every Rose and Mama. But you know what? When I'm driving down that Jersey Turnpike in August to see the Party Gras, I'm cranking Look What the Cat Dragged In. And if only for the joke that keeps on giving, that I masturbated furiously to that front cover before I realized.
Well, wait a minute, Don.
I know where all those letters came from. Old school snail mail coming through. Now it's all coming back to me.
Don, I picked Look What the Cat Dragged In. You're telling me I was wrong. You picked it too.
I said you were wrong about your favorite Poison album.
Yeah, it's Look What the Cat Dragged In, which you picked too.
No. You mean as far as this? I was just saying overall. I think their best album is Flesh and Blood.
Between these two, we're all in agreement. What do you say, Brett?
Now here's my. You're ready for my. You know, you know how I duck and weave and dodge on here. So here we go. Cat Dragged In, Raw, did this album sleeping in the studio, independent. One of the first people started working on this record. We had to throw them out because they wanted to make Talk Dirty Me into this slow ballad. We're like, that's not happening. We played those songs live in the studio, raw, real. Same thing. I got to say this about Open Up and Say Ah, though. You ready? Second album, the songwriting, the feeling of going in there and doing it, we took the exact same approach. This time, you know, being in there with Tom, I believe this one was with, God, when we went to the second, forgive me, I just had a mental brain fart because I was doing the Flesh and Blood when we were up in Vancouver recording.
Tom Werman, did Tom Werman do the second record? I
think that the second record was, God, please forgive me on this, man. Here you have a good moment. Complete days. I just had it in the back of my brain.
Thought it was Werman.
Yeah, what I thought it was Werman too, because Bruce Fairbairn did Flesh and Blood. Yeah, so it was Tom Werman did the second record, and he was great. But here's the truth: Cat Dragged In, that was independent, our own album, doing that ourselves, putting up the money, and then, but they're like children. I love them both.
Now, Brett, how long were you playing those, the first song from Look What the Cat Dragged In? Were you guys playing them live for a couple of years before you recorded them?
At least a couple of years. Minimum.
Okay.
There's that old adage that everybody says, you got your entire life to write the first record, and then there's that pressure of the second one. Did you feel that?
Yeah, you do a little bit. Can I be honest? I was so excited. We had a whole bunch of music we were writing. I had Every Rose Has Its Thorn, the riff to Nothing But a Good Time. And when I say this, CeCe and Bobby, Ricky, myself, we all write together. We go in there live, play it, smash through it, and just say this works, that doesn't work. And then I go back and just write the lyrics and put them in there. But one of the things I think is important to know with Poison and with the new single Back in the Day, I go in there with the same approach, man. Even before your show, I came on here, just idea hits my head. I start writing it, playing it, lay down the drums, play the guitar. It's a great feeling. And know this, you were talking about Look What the Cat Dragged In. I start the whole party girl with Talk Dirty to Me. But most of the time we never do that. We close with it. I open up right in the throat with Talk Dirty to Me.
Nice.
And that was Eddie's wedding song, so that's a perfect way to end it.
It is Eddie's. I had to play that as the ballad that I didn't want to do originally. I do it at Eddie's,
anniversary.
Yeah, and Don's copy of Look What the Cat Dragged In is stuck to the Open Up and Say Ah next to each other. Hey, listen, buddy, we got to let you go, man. We greatly appreciate you doing this, and we should mention, talking about music, keep an ear open if you haven't checked out what Brett's doing solo with his new music as well. Back in the day, some great songs, and go see the Party Gras. It's a party. I mean, how else can you put it? It's an awesome party, and I appreciate you doing this, man. It's always good to see you, and we'll be in touch. All right.
Thanks, Brett.
Thank you all. You all have a great day. Go Jets. Go Dolphins. Go Giants. Kick-ass Steelers.
See, he knows how to work it so perfectly.
Work it, baby.
He was work it. I'll see you, man.
See you later, man.
No.